Shuttle, this way.
Okay.
Over there to the right.
What's up everyone, my name is Augustine.
And I'm Haley, and today we're going on the Beatles and Bratwurst tour.
If you've seen my videos before, you know that I usually don't have as much energy, but I brought my assistant today, so it's gonna be a pretty high up video. Yeah. You've probably seen my video showing you the Beatles locations in Hamburg before, but this one is gonna be different because we're gonna have a proper guide with us.
I can't wait to see what the day has in store. Maybe just turn the volume up a little tiny bit.
Can we turn the volume up? I'll just have to
that's
speak.
better.
But I will try and teach you some German while we're here.
And this is our first stop, Marill, for a Bratwurst.
Yes, so we're gonna stop here for a minute and we're gonna have breakfast. And then we're gonna go to the main Beatles locations here in Hamburg.
So we've got some currywurst and some Bratwurst. Let's get stuck in.
Okay, so I'm gonna try this traditional German thing. You have to eat it with your hands. It's not like I'm a savage, but this is the way you do it. Oh, thanks for the tour, man. You don't mind if we film some stuff?
Not at all.
Our first stop was the Beatles-Plats, which is located in the red light district of St. Pauli, very close to where the Beatles used to play. The Beatles-Plats celebrates the importance of the city of Hamburg in the history of the Beatles. The circle-shaped black pavement resembles a vinyl record, and all around it you can find Beatles songs titles. The statues represent each individual member of the Beatles. We have George Harrison, Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Stuart Sutcliffe, which was the first bassist of the Beatles who decided to leave the band to stay with his girlfriend Astrid, and the drummer represents both Peter Best and Ringo Starr. The guide told us that if we stand right in the middle and we sing, we can hear our reflection from the statues. So of course we had to try it for ourselves.
Engineer, so when you stand in the water, and if you look in that direction and you sing, then you'll get a good acoustic kickback. I don't know with the thing if you'll hear it, but...
I wanna hold your hand.
Yeah. We want another round.
You have to sing louder.
Okay. Oh, I tell you something.
Da, 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 da.
I think you'll understand.
I need a band.
And I say that something. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand.
And if you want to have a look, the drummer, they have all their names on their feet.
So as we can see, the drummer here represents both Ringo Starr and Peter Best.
Welcome to Denmark. This is the beginning of Denmark.
Hi, sorry to interrupt the video. Just a very quick, very important announcement. I published a book. That's right, I published a book. It's called From the Cavern to Abbey Road, a journey through the Beatles' iconic landmarks. In this book we see the story of the Beatles from the places where everything happened. Some of them are famous, like let's say Abbey Road Studios, and some of them perhaps not so famous, like for example the art gallery where John and Yoko met. The book is divided in 4 sections: Liverpool, Hamburg, London, and the last one is all around the world, so of course I called it Here, There and Everywhere. I put a lot of work and effort into this book, and it would help me so much if you grabbed a copy. It's available on Amazon all around the world, and it comes in 2 different formats. One is a digital book for Kindle, and the other one is the paperback, which is the one that I've got in my hands right now. So if you want your copy, please go to the link in the description. Thank you. Now back to the video. So this is the Indra Club, the first place where the Beatles played here in Hamburg.
So on the 17th of August 1960, this is where the young fellas arrived. They called themselves the Silver Beatles back then, and they were just a cover band. Mostly Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley.
Did you play up there or down there?
Hey?
Did you play up there? Or...
They played in there.
Oh.
The Beatles' initial trip to Hamburg was due to a contract their manager at the time, also owner of the Beatles' Jacaranda Club, made with a man called Bruno Kosmader. He was the owner of 2 Hamburg clubs, the Indra Club and the Kaiserkeller. He was willing to pay the Beatles €2.50 per day per person for a 2-month Indra Club residency. The Beatles had to endure really long hours on stage, and they often used preludine as a stimulant. After that we went to the Kaiserkeller Club. So the Beatles played at the Indra Club for 40 nights until it was closed due to noise complaints. Then they moved to the slightly bigger Kaiserkeller Club. It was right here where they met another band from Liverpool who was also playing at the Kaiserkeller Club called Rory Storm and the Hurricanes. And the drummer was none other than Ringo Starr. It was also here where they met Astrid, who ended up stealing the heart of Stuart Sutcliffe. Then we went to the Top 10 Club, which is the 3rd place where the Beatles played in Hamburg. So basically they decided to break their contract with Bruno Koschmader because they were tired of putting up with his abuse, and they moved to the Top 10 Club where they were offered more money and slightly better conditions. But of course Bruno Koschmader didn't like that, so he reported George Harrison for working underage and he got deported. After his 18th birthday, they managed to get back to Hamburg and they started their residency at the Top 10 Club. And finally we saw the former site of the Star Club, which is the last place where the Beatles played in Hamburg. By this time the Beatles were already a little bit more famous, they were paid more money and they were able to afford single rooms in hotels. Also by this time the drummer was already Ringo Starr. Now sadly the building of the Star Club burned down, but there is a plaque celebrating the Star Club. Another interesting place here in Hamburg is the Bambikino. The Bambikino was a cinema where people used to watch porn and westerns. When the Beatles played at the Indra Club, they used to live right here in a storage room with no windows and 2 sets of bunk beds. According to Paul McCartney, they were living in very rough conditions and they would get really cold. Finally, we went to a beautiful pub and we all had a pint before heading back to the ship.
Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers! The time the Beatles spent in Hamburg was a crucial chapter in their success. I made another video showing you all these places in more detail, so you can click the link in the description if you're interested. Also, this whole channel is dedicated to the Beatles, so if you love the Beatles as much as I do, please make sure you subscribe and you check out my other videos because you're definitely gonna find them interesting. You can also follow me on social media and there's a PayPal link for donations. Thank you so much for watching until the end. See you next time. Bye.
Well, I'm afraid that's us run out of time.
Oh,
I'm really
okay.
sorry.
Oh,
So,
bye, everyone.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
If I give my heart to you, I must be sure from the very start that you